Hi, welcome back to the trans joy of painting. Let me explain what we got going on today. While we have all the colors, you'll need to paint along with us, digitally shown on the bottom of the screen. So today, as usual, we have a nice canvas primed with a nice liquid white. This allows us to basically get the colors on the canvas and not have to worry too much about waiting for the paint to dry, as, well, that's not very fun now, is it? See, with this, we'll be able to enjoy a nice quick painting in the comfort of our own home. Now, if you want to watch again, like get a bit more tips, feel free to record this of tape so you can rewind and watch as many times as you like. So I hope this will be a fun, affirming experience. So as usual, I guess I'll start with a nice green. Okay, so I'm going to use a bristle fan brush, nice and simple. And we're going to do very light strokes across the canvas. We don't want to go too hard here, as little gaps in there, well, they're not really mistakes. They actually allow everything to come together and look like blades of grass. If we do that, we should be able to have it look extra nice. Right like that. Yeah. Now, I'm not sure what exactly we're going to paint today, but I'm feeling a bit crazy. So I figured maybe a nice lake, a nice ocean, a nice place to relax, So let me grab and put a little bit of water behind here. Now water, I'm also going to use the bristle fan brush. I'll be real, I've become quite fond of it, I won't lie. It's a nice relaxing brush. Now with the water, you want it to be a bit smoother. So it's best to let it go in a single direction. But nothing wrong with having a little gap in the middle. Can cause some little tricks for the eyes. Yeah, just little gaps like that. Now, what's going to live in our world exactly? Well, I don't know quite yet. That's the fun part. Now, to help us distinguish the sky from the water here, I think what I'll do is I'm going to grab this layer here. And let's grab a darker color. We can mix the phthalo blue. And if we do that, with this nice color here, we should be able to make it different enough that it'll look like a different area. A nice night sky. Perhaps a night sky filled with all sorts of euphoria, good vibes, that kind of thing. Now, I've gotten many letters from doing this show. And people often ask how to handle a tough day. And other than painting, of course, I always tell people when I reply to the letters that just because something's a bad day doesn't mean it's always going to be bad. There's always light at the end of the tunnel at the end of the day, So I like to make sure people know that as we're going through the average every day, So, tell you what, let's grab some nice fluffy clouds. What's a little bit of nature without some clouds, right? So let's grab this layer here. I'm going to just grab just some nice basic white. And we're just going to do a little dab motion. We're going to kind of go dip, 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 like that. So we're going to just dip, just like that right there. Nice and simple. Nice and simple. Nothing crazy. The more sporadic the brush strokes go, the more fluffy it will look. You can even change the angle of the brush. That can help things be a bit easier. Yeah, like that. I'd say it's a pretty good cloud. Pretty happy with that. Let's add some more clouds, shall we? We can make a cloud shape like anything, really. What do you think this one should be shaped as? I'm thinking an elephant. Yeah, I think an elephant's a good idea. I love elephants personally. I don't get to see them too often, but when I go to the zoo, oh, they're just so wonderful. I just like seeing them walk around and wave around their nice little trunks. You know? I have a stuffed animal. I have a plush of an elephant. They're quite a wonderful, wonderful little plush. Name them Trunky. They're a trusted, trusted friend for a long time. Ain't that wonderful? Okay. Let's grab... I'd say that's a pretty good shape, I think. I'd say that's pretty solid. I don't think we have to do too much other than those. However, just because, I mean, why not, right? Might as well add another. What the heck, right? So, let's just do that up here. Let's make this a big, big cloud. Maybe it's a nice windy day. Maybe we could do a windmill. That'd be so fun. I think a windmill would be the best idea. That'd be the most enjoyable. I think at least. Let's just fill out this cloud just a little more. Clouds are so fluffy you could practically lie down on them like they're pillows. It's really fun to see it really come together, you know? Because in our own world, in the world of paint, our world can be whatever we want it to be, you know? It can be absolutely whatever you want it to be. Tell you what, let's create a mountain. Now, I love mountains, so I figured it'd be a good thing to add to it. Now, down in Australia, I don't have access to too much snow, right? So, if you'd humour me today, I'd like to use my little palette knife here to create a nice, simple mountain in the distance. Perhaps this mountain goes straight into the water. Perhaps it's part of the aquatic ecosystem. I mean, we don't have to limit ourselves too much to realism, I guess. But as long as it still shows the beauty of the world around us, right? So let's etch this into our canvas here. Let me just, how about I merge these together? Yep, okay. Let's grab a palette knife here. And what we're going to do is really scrape it across. The more chaotic, the better. Reason being, mountains are not very symmetrical. Mountains don't really play by the rules that artists are often tormented with. See, a mountain can do whatever it wants. Why not reflect that in our own world, right? So let's just add just a bunch of brown. Just go crazy with it. Just have fun, honestly. If you're not having fun, then why are we doing it, right? Gotta make sure we're having a good time. So that'd be our little mountain here. Now, let's really sell the illusion of the water. So what we're going to do is, how about like underneath it, let's grab some of the colors that we used earlier, that little phthalo blue, and let's actually put it on top of the water. You see, when doing shadows, they're a bit intimidating. However, luckily, with a technique such as this, all the paint's already wet, so you can just mix it together and just slap stuff on top of it. So make sure that the paint can touch the little bits of water. And let's try just blending the colors together. Just a slightly darker color. That's all you gotta do. Make sure you have plenty of paint though. Can run thin very quick. Similar to the patience of people at the grocery store. However, in our little world, we can be as patient as we like. Ain't that wonderful? Okay, let's add a bit more. We really want to sell that pointiness at the end. That it's a big, big mountain that looks over the land. But we want to make sure it's nice and dark. If it loses that darkness, it won't look that different from the water around it. So let's just put it on top just a little bit. Maybe that's a bit too much. I think it looks rather pretty. Well, it wasn't what I was going to go for. Hey, happy accidents, as they say. So let's let that happy little accident reside in our little world. Now, I alluded to this earlier, but I thought it'd be really cool to have a little windmill. So for this one, we're going to use a smooth dagger brush. This is a nice thin brush for the really precise stuff. Now, our windmill can be very thin. Gotta be careful there. We gotta make sure that everything moves smoothly and goes up like that. It doesn't have to be perfectly straight. Not many things are. Okay. Many people expect things to be straightforward, but alas, if you want to do anything, you gotta practice, right? If you don't practice, then you won't get to do the stuff that you might be interested in doing. Why limit yourself, you know? People often get people to do the things they're already good at, but the reason they're good at that stuff is because they practiced. Maybe these aren't the most incredible paintings in the world, however, they can bring a bit of trans joy, you know? Now, you may be wondering what trans joy specifically we're going to express in this artwork. And I was thinking of having a cute animal holding a transgender pride flag. I think that'd be really wonderful. Just a way to showcase pride and happiness, right? That's the trans joy of painting, so to speak. I think that would be key. So let me just use the tactic I used earlier. I'm just going to grab some nice green, maybe a black, and just make it a little darker. Nothing crazy. And we're just going to do a big line like that. Yeah, so the shadow reflects the little bit of our little windmill. To really sell it, let's have one little bit there. There. No one needs to see the rest of it. That's a bit complicated. We don't have to worry about that right now. Those finer details you can't see, well, they can't see it. So if they ask you, you could say it is there. Just go use your imagination. You know? You don't have to be too worried about the tiny little things that don't really affect much, you know? I'm just going to do little bushes here by just slapping the brush down, like a little chopping motion, like when you're preparing some nice tomatoes. This way, we can have some nice lush bushes. Having extra bits of vegetation can really sell things. And I know what you're thinking. Lucy, where's the trees? You gotta have a happy little tree. And, like, of course, I agree with you. So how about we do that, okay? How about we use that same dagger brush from earlier? Let's just make a nice, simple little tree. Where do you think we should put it? Honestly, in our world, we can put it wherever we want, really. Maybe trees come from the ocean. Maybe trees go across. Who knows? Maybe our trees are upside down. Honestly, it could do anything. However, I really like our little mountain, so I don't want to draw too much attention away from it. So how about we put it right to the side? Right here. Kind of near our little windmill. Why not, right? Yeah, that's a good spot, I think. So let me grab the fan brush once again. Now, you want to make it a little darker. It gives it a bit of sense of depth. You can then add little lighter bits of color on top of it. This just gives it that extra little dimension. It really makes it look and pop out, you know? Like those 3D glasses movies. Yeah. Aren't those incredible? Don't know how they do it. That's quite impressive technology. Man, now you can watch videos as much as you like. Perhaps rewind and watch as many, many times as you want. Really get the grasp of all that was created in it. When things are broadcasted on television, often we don't get the opportunity to really take it in, you know? All those little details that all the creatives have created, and yet sometimes we don't see them when they're broadcasted for the first time. We're going to add just a bit more space down here. We want the tree to be a bit wonky, a bit uneven, as trees aren't even in the world around us, and we want to express that for our art. So that's why we'll make our tree like that. Now, you might remember earlier when I mentioned we could add a lighter color. Yes, we can. We're going to put it right on top. Let's just blend it in. So when you do bushes and trees, you want to like flick into it. Just tiny, tiny little flick motions. These really give it a bit of depth. Makes it almost feel like it's really there. Just that extra little oomph to really change it up. Ain't that beautiful? Let's go back to a little dagger brush. How about a tree right in the middle? Yeah. Now, when we start drawing animals here, I guess the thing to wonder, and the decisions that we get to make in our own painting is, what are they doing? What are they doing in this wonderful little windy valley that we've made? I don't know about you, but I'd love to go on a little picnic. Like with friends, a nice blanket, and people that can relate to your experience and be kind. The kind that you want to share all the sandwiches with. Yeah. So let's focus on that. That kind of joy of community and sharing the little time we have with everyone. Making the most of it. Being kind to others. Being wonderful. And of course, sharing our sandwiches. You can tell I'm a little hungry. I had a wonderful burger today, though. I shouldn't be greedy. Yeah, the birds are chirping today. It was really windy, so I guess that inspired our little piece today. Yeah. Birds often remind us of home. It's the one thing we notice when we go away from it. All the birds everywhere are often very different than the birds that we know back home. That can be quite a tricky thing, I find. When I was overseas for a little bit, all the birds were a little different. But it made you wonder where those little birds were headed. Maybe that's a familiar bird sound for many. Honestly, who's to say? So, let's get some joy in here. At least more joy than we already have, right? So let's grab a little blanket. No, I won't use a fan brush. I think I'll use a short flare brush. Okay. Alright, so we're going to just grab just a little bit of paint. Doesn't have to be a crazy amount. Just a little bit. And all we're going to do is we're going to create a big square, basically. In our world, this can be our little picnic blanket. Now, that was a bit uneven, but, you know, that's okay. Once you fill on top of it, yep, there. That'll be our little secret. No one's going to know. Those little decisions you make on the fly can really help a piece come together. You never know what kind of little oopsies are going to come up. But sometimes they can create the biggest creative, nice feelings, you know? It can feel really rewarding, almost. I'll just use a dagger brush to add just some little lines. I like dagger brushes as they have like that little tip at the side They're nice and angled. Makes it a bit easier. We don't need these to be too pronounced, so we're going to have a lot of friends sitting on top of it. So honestly, it being a little faded probably suits it better. Alright. Main event time. Okay. What we'll try. Tell you what. How about we make one of my wonderful teddy bears, Teddy, join the fray in this little world of ours. So we're just going to use a nice little brush here. And I'm just going to draw a circle and fill it in. Now Teddy is a wonderful bear plushie. I got them when I was born into this wonderful, wonderful world of ours. Now, those ears are a bit big for Teddy, so I'm actually gonna make the head a little bigger so no one will ever know. It's those kind of secrets that really help really sell the art, you know? Okay, let's have them like there. Have a little hand there. And maybe we can have their hand out, because we're going to have them have a very special job. And we're going to use the dagger brush to deliver that message of the main event. Trans joy. So I'm going to do this nice little eyes. And we're just going to do a cute little face like that. Add a little nose. I'd say that works pretty well. Now we're going to use this nice fine brush here to make a little flag. You can probably guess what kind of flag. But sometimes some things aren't as surprising. Makes us appreciate when the surprises do come. Now, because we have water here, we got to differentiate the blue a little bit. So what we're going to do, I'm just going to create this little blue here. This blue here. Now, the color is a little off than what is usually done on the transgender flag. However, we use that color for the wonderful ocean. So we're going to have to just improvise a little bit, you know? So what we'll do is we're going to make some pink. Pink's one of my favorite colors, personally. Just going to mix the white and red. Get that little color in. And tell you what, we're going to reuse the leftover white we have to add the little part in the middle. A nice little transgender flag. I think it's quite beautiful, to be honest with you. It's a really nice flag. Having different colors represent different parts of the gender binary, but then having the white in the middle to show that it's, well, the gender binary is not so simple. There's many of us in the world, and we experience our own gender in many different ways. So, long-time viewers of this program may recall Bun Bun the bunny, a wonderful plush companion to our wonderful little televised program. So, let's grab a big, big white circle. And then another one. That can be their body. And then we want them to be chilling, enjoying our wonderful little picnic. And then we're going to do big ears. We want to really exaggerate these ears, as we made Teddy's ears a bit bigger than we might have liked. So all we need to do is just make sure Bun Bun's ears are a little bigger, and the lovely spectators in our art gallery won't be any the wiser. It's a good little strat, if you ask me. Okay, let's create some cutesy little eyes. Sometimes the simplest shapes can create the most joy. Now let's just dip, dip. And then Yeah. Now, for those that don't know, Bun Bun has a nice, cute little ribbon. So we're going to make sure that's all in order for our little painting. I wouldn't want Bun Bun to find out that I didn't draw their ribbon. That'd be rather impolite of me, honestly. Art's about really capturing the beauty of things, and I think a beautiful thing about Bun Bun is that wonderful ribbon, the wonderful ears, and of course how soft they are when it's bedtime. That for sure is a big part of it. Now, what makes this a true picnic? Well, food, of course. We got the community part sorted, so let's give them some nice food. I'm thinking a sandwich, as I spoke a lot about food during this program today. So let's grab a nice bit of brown as our little bread. I mentioned tomatoes earlier, so what the heck. We can put a little tomato in here. We can make it a little messy. Those kind of finer, smaller details, people aren't too worried about. Because when you look up close, it looks so good. If anything, it looks more like a burger. I mean, perhaps that's just me being hungry and thinking of that burger from earlier. How about we have a nice big plate of all the food that they're sharing together? Let's just have a nice bit of cheese. Yeah. Nice bit of cheese like that. Let's try the color over it a little bit to make the cheese a little more pronounced. And then make it have a little curve downwards to make it look extra cheese-like. Yes, like that. They say the moon has cheese. Be quite interested to see it someday. I mean, anything's possible. We have people on the moon now. Technology does truly amaze me. Makes you wonder what will happen someday. Maybe in the future in our little world of ours. Maybe people will be able to connect, and maybe anyone can have a lovely little show like this and broadcast it to so many people across perhaps the entire world. This little program is televised all across the country, but maybe someday people can share their art as easy as possible. As simple as snapping a picture. That'd be a beautiful future. But suppose it's not quite yet. Now, let's add some pizza. I'm quite a fan of pizza. Yeah. Nice bit of pizza. A nice movie rented. And that's a Friday afternoon sort of, if I ever thought of one. So many movies lately. I can feel like I can never quite see them all. But who knows, right? That can be our little pizza. Oh, of course we need cheese. So I'm just going to use a smaller fan brush. And we're just going to dab the cheese into the pizza. Like that. There's a bit of pizza cheese there that fell onto the picnic blanket. But hey, that happens sometimes, right? Now, last little touch, I want to use our little palette knife to create a beautiful, beautiful little touch. I want the mountain to have a little bit of snow. I'm from Australia, so we don't really have access to much snow, right? So all we gotta do is dust it on here. Make it look like a lamington. Yep. Just nice little bits of dust. Little snowy dust. And just kind of randomly put it across the canvas. And make it less pronounced on the way down. So it's just little bits of snow. Yeah. Yeah. And tell you what if we did something a bit crazy? What if we grabbed a little bit of phthalo blue and let's mix it into the ocean here to make it look like there's little things just chilling in the water. Mind their own business. Who knows what they're doing? In our little world, they could be doing anything, really. It's quite a beautiful thing. Okay. Let's give them a little tail. Maybe it'll be the kind of thing where people photograph it and they go, wonder what that is. We get to know. It's our little world after all. But, maybe. There's all sorts of things in our lovely little ocean. Perhaps stuff we could never even imagine. To round it out, I'm going to use a fan brush now to make a bigger tree. And I'm going to do it right there. Like that. Let me try the color again. Let's paint over it. Might add some extra depth having that there. Yeah, like that. Be a little haphazard with our little fan brush here. It's a wonderful brush. It allows us to do so many things. But if we do that, it just gives our little world just a little bit more depth. It makes you really wonder what is beyond what is painted. What lies beyond the left of this world? Well, you could at least assume there's a tree. And based on this little picnic, I guess whatever's on the other part of this little windy valley must be pretty good. Must be quite the place. Okay, we got that. I'd say our painting's just about done. Let's add a little bush for good measure. Why not? How about a flower? Nothing wrong with a flower. I'm going to use a fine brush for that. I'm going to use a bit of red, as we've used a little bit of red, but we might as well have more. Just place them a bit randomly across the canvas. Nothing crazy. And then what I find really helps is grabbing another color and doing a similar pattern to make sure it's obvious that these are flowers. Just those extra little slushes of paint can really, really just add something interesting to it. Just something extra for the observer to look at. They might wonder, well, what's it all about? What went through the painter's mind as they made it? Now, we're going to know as we got to paint along together, but who's to say? A lot goes through my mind, but painting helps me remind myself to let myself take a step back and really enjoy things for what they are. Things aren't always perfect, but you know what? I'm just happy to be here. I'm glad I was given the blessed opportunity to be able to paint and share my little creations with the world with the power of such technology. It's quite incredible. Very, very incredible. Alright. Let's grab just the tiniest bit of brown. And let's blend it in with the grass for just one more shadow. Yeah. Alright. I'd say that makes our little creation about done. Thank you for joining me for the trans joy of painting. I appreciate everyone tuning in every week and enjoying various creations. And I encourage you, if you enjoyed, to please subscribe to our newsletter. And if you have a way to express that you like it, be sure to write us a lovely letter, as we love reading all the letters we receive from watchers. And we're excited to see what's next. If you'd like to see more like this, please let us know. And as always, stay hydrated and know that you are valid. I'll see you next week.